الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد, we are still on our book Al-Adabul Mufrad by Amirul Mu'minin fil Hadith, Al-Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah, Muhammad ibn Ismail. We are on Babu Birri Al-Walid Al-Mushrik. Babu Birri Al-Walid Al-Mushrik, the chapter about being nice and kind, connecting ties with Al-Walid Al-Mushrik, a parent who happens to be a polytheist. How does Islam want us to relate with parents who are polytheists in terms of being nice and kind to them? What are the guidelines in the Sharia regarding that from the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? We read the hadith of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, where his mother was very, very tough on Sa'd, insisting that Sa'd should leave the path of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas was very, very firm. He had ever been a nice boy, a kind boy to his mother. But the condition of the mother's insistence did not make him to follow her upon sin. And regarding that, Allah reveals, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَكَ عَلَىٰ أَنْ تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Allah sent down the verse that when parents become insistent that the child should join them upon disobedience to Allah, فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, the child should not obey the parents. وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا, but still the child could be or should still be kind to them in the matters of this dunya. That was the point of reference in the hadith number 24 that we read, the first hadith under this chapter heading Babu Birri Al-Walid Al-Mushrik. There are few other issues under it, but the major point for which Al-Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah placed that hadith under this chapter was the story between Sa'd ibn Malik ibn Uhayb, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, the successful companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who was successful in the matters of this dunya and was also assured of success in the hereafter, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. The next hadith that followed that is hadith number 25. In it Al-Imam Al-Bukhari said rahimahullah, حدثنا الحميدي قال حدثنا ابن عيينة قال حدثنا هشام بن عروة قال أخبرني أبي قال أخبرتني أسماء بنت أبي بكر قالت أتتني أمي راغبة في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم فسألت النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أصومها؟ قال نعم. قال ابن عيينة فأنزل الله فيها لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين. Al-Imam Al-Bukhari said rahimahullah, he is reporting this hadith from one of his best teachers ever, Al-Imam Abdullah ibn Zubayr al-Humaydi Abu Bakr. And that was the first person from whom he reported a hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari. So here also this isnad is purely an isnad from Sahih al-Bukhari. So Al-Imam Al-Bukhari said حدثنا al-Humaydi. This Imam Al-Imam Al-Humaydi is Abu Bakr Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Abdullah ibn Zubayr. He was a student of Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, after he had been a student of Al-Imam Sufyan ibn Uyayna, from whom he has reported this particular 19 years. Al-Imam al-Humaydi was in the studentship under the tutelage of Al-Imam Ibn Uyayna for 19 years, and he has reported this hadith from him, from Al-Imam Sufyan Ibn Uyayna. We will note that just like Al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, we have repeatedly come across the ahadith of Al-Imam Sufyan Ibn Uyayna. So I like to call our attention to reading about this Imam Sufyan Ibn Uyayna, rahimahullah, because we will find many hadith in the books of hadith. Not in all the books of hadith. We will always find a hadith from Sufyan al-Thawri. We always find a hadith from Sufyan Ibn Uyayna, rahimahullah. We should read about him, read about his teachers, and read about his students as much as Allah gives us the ability. This hadith was from him, rahimahullah. قال حدثنا هشام بن عروة. الإمام سفيان بن عيينة الهلالي رحمه الله is reporting this hadith from his teacher Hisham ibn Urwa. Hisham ibn Urwa happens to be the grandson of Asma'u bint Abi Bakr, the companion who was mentioned in this hadith. So Hisham ibn Urwa is reporting this hadith. He said, قال أخبرني أبي. His father reported this hadith to him, and his father is Urwa ibn Zubayr. Remember Urwa ibn Zubayr, we have come across one of his reports here in this book, Al-Adabul Mufrad, where he explained a verse of the Quran. So Al-Imam Hisham ibn Urwa is reporting this hadith from his father, Urwa ibn Zubayr. Urwa ibn Zubayr is the younger brother of Abdullah ibn Zubayr. Abdullah ibn Zubayr is a well-known companion, radiallahu anhuma, and the first child of Asma'u bint Abi Bakr. But here we have this report from his younger brother, Urwa ibn Zubayr, one of the greatest scholars of hadith and fiqh and tafsir He was one of the greatest scholars of hadith and fiqh and tafsir during the time of the Tabi'un, radiallahu anhum. Urwa ibn Zubayr, he has a lot of fadail, but I hope inshallah as we read along this book we'll be coming across some of them, or some of them when we talk about him. We'll mention them inshallah. So Hisham ibn Urwa is reporting this hadith from his father, Urwa ibn Zubayr, rahimahullah, who is also reporting this hadith, and who said, أخبرتني أسماء بنت أبي بكر الصديق. أسماء بنت أبي بكر الصديق is the mother of Urwa, and Urwa is reporting this hadith from him, from her, radiallahu anha. Just like Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas is a model man for knowledge and how to relate in the matters of our religion, Urwa is Asma'u bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq is a model for females, radiallahu anha. Asma'u bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq was a woman who was always very, very calm. She was older than Aisha radiallahu anha, even though they are from different mothers. We'll come back to that inshallah. Asma'u bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had a mother different from the mother of Aisha. But the scholars of Sirah make us understand that between Asma'u bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Aisha radiallahu anha was a deeper age gap of 10 years. Asma'u bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is mentioned to be about 10 years older than our mother Aisha radiallahu anha, despite the fact that they were from different mothers. And Asma'u bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, she was a woman who was very, very intelligent. She was intelligent, she had great commitment, she had great commitment to Islam throughout the entirety of her life, especially when from the time that the Prophet ﷺ started his message. We would remember that she was used to visiting the Prophet ﷺ together with her father, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, when they were in the cave of Hira on the day that they made hijrah to Medina. She was a very brilliant young girl. She was doing that with her brother Abdullah, and Abdullah and herself were the same mother. The mother about whom we will be discussing today. Abdullah ibn Abi Bakr as-Siddiq and Asma'u bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq are from the same mother. Her name is Kufayla bint Abdul Uzza. Her name is Kufayla bint Abdul Uzza. That is the mother of Asma'u bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq radiyallahu anha. This mother of Asma'u bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq, she was married to Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, had married her before Islam. They were married during the time of Jahiliyyah, and they got separated also during the time of Jahiliyyah. Some of the scholars said it was before the Prophet's call to Islam that Abu Bakr got separated from Qutayla. But some of the scholars said no, it was for Islam that Qutayla refused to accept Islam together with the rest of the family of Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, and she became divorced by Abu Bakr al-Siddiq. In whichever of the case, it appears, and Allah knows best, that they had been divorced before the Prophet's call to Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Qutayla. So Asma'u bint Abu Bakr al-Siddiq and her brother Abdullah, who were both given birth to by Qutayla, the both of them were very, very helpful to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and their father Abu Bakr al-Siddiq during the time of their hijrah from Makkah to Medina. Abdullah used to come to them in the cave, just like Asma also used to bring food for them in the cave. Abdullah will bring information from the town about what the people are saying, whether they are looking for them, what is the next thing the people wanted to do. So they used to do that, radiallahu anhum, Asma'u and her brother. And when she actually migrated to Medina, she was blessed with the son Abdullah. She happened to be the first Muslim woman who gave birth to a baby after the hijrah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The scholars of Sirah reported that the non-Muslims used to chastise and abuse the Muslims and threaten them, the Jews especially, that look, this your hijrah is a bad thing for you. You will see that you will not have a child in this Medina. But when Asma went to Abu Bakr al-Siddiq made hijrah, she was able to give birth to Abdullah ibn Zubayr, and Allah used her as the means to shame those people who had negative thoughts and negative impressions about the hijrah of the Muslims. At that time. So Asma bint Abu Bakr al-Siddiq, Allah gave her long life. She lived for a whole 100 years, radiallahu anha. And the ulama say throughout the time that she lived as a person who was brilliant. She had her intelligence with her, she had her truth with her. Yes, you would know that she was able, but she had every sense with her, radiallahu anha. When she passed away at age 100, few days after her son Abdullah ibn Zubayr was martyred. Radiallahu anhu. Asma'u bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq, she had reported a lot of hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Don't forget that she is the daughter of Abu Bakr al-Siddiq. If she has no virtue except this, it suffices for her as a virtue. And we remember that she was the wife of Zubayr ibn Awwam. Zubayr ibn Awwam, the husband of Asma bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq, was one of those who was promised Al-Jannah by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he also died as a martyr, even though the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had mentioned earlier that Abdullah ibn Zubayr will die as a martyr. He actually died as a martyr from the information of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he is from amongst those who has been assured of a place inside Al-Jannah. When a woman now lives under a man who has been assured of Al-Jannah, and she herself is committed to the religion, and she was given birth to by a man who was assured of Al-Jannah, and she had a sister who was living with the noblest of mankind, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She herself employed the opportunity. She never distanced herself from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Asma bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq was always with the Prophet. She was always asking questions and seeking guidance regarding the religion. And by that, Allah made her to get mobility in this dunya, and bi'idhnillah, mobility on the day of Qiyamah. Asma bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq was a committed wife to her husband Zubayr, radiallahu anhu. Asma bint Abi Bakr al-Siddiq was a committed wife to her husband Zubayr. I would like to adjure our women to read a lot about Asma and try to live their lives like Asma. She's a modern Muslim woman for the rest of the Muslim women. Radiallahu anha. So she said, Radiallahu anha, أتتني أمي راغبة في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم فسألت النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أصلها قال نعم. أسماء بنت أبي بكر الصديق said أتتني أمي راغبة. My mother came to me. Her mother was Qutayla bint Abdul Uzza. She was in Mecca, and this event occurred between the time of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, social Hudaybiyah, and before Mecca, when Mecca finally came under the triumph of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was within this period that Qutayla, the mother of Asma'u, visited Asma. She remained upon shirk, let's not forget. So she came to Medina to meet Asma'u bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, her daughter. Abdullah ibn Zubayr, the son of Asma'u, also reported this hadith. This hadith of her visitation has also been reported by Aisha radiallahu anha, and it has also been reported by her son Abdullah ibn Zubayr. So let us be aware of this. This hadith has also been reported, this story, this narration has also been reported by Aisha radiallahu anha, and has also been reported from Abdullah ibn Zubayr. In the report of Abdullah ibn Zubayr, the son of Asma'u bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Abdullah ibn Zubayr says, radiyallahu anhuma, قدمت قتيلة على ابنتها, that Qutayla came to visit. This is a clear-cut reference that her name was Qutayla, and this report of Ibn Zubayr occurs in Al-Tabaqat by Imam Ibn Sa'd. Ulama theory report is authentic. Ibn Zubayr described the name so that we can save some time, inshallah. Abdullah ibn Zubayr said, when Qutayla, who was a mushrika at the time, and most of the reports said she died upon shirk, when she came to visit Asma'u radiallahu anha, she came with a lot of gifts. That was why she said, Atatni ummi raghibatan. She came with a lot of gifts. Raghibatan. She was hoping that when she came, she was going to have good dealings. She hoped to have, she was anticipating good dealings also from Asma. So she came with gifts. She came with things like butter. She came with things like grapes, dried grapes, raisins. She came with other food items, as women do when they make journeys. She came with food items as gifts for Asma. Abdullah ibn Zubayr said, radiyallahu anhu, فأبت أسماء أن تقبل هديتها. But Asma refused to accept the gifts, or تدخلها بيتها. She also refused to make her come into her house. Asma bint Abu Bakr as-Siddiq refused to accept the gifts from her mother because she was a mushrika, number one. She wanted to know what is the ruling about accepting such gifts. Secondly, she did not allow her to come into her house because at that time, as this hadith said, في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, it was when the Prophet had a truce with the mushrikun of Mecca during social Hudaybiyah, and one of those things upon which they agreed was that if a non-Muslim woman migrates from Mecca to Medina, should be returned from Mecca to Medina, should be returned to the Muslim. But that is upon the premise that she has come to accept Islam. But whatever the case, Asma bint Abu Bakr knew that, radiallahu anha, there were agreements on the ground. She didn't know what her accommodating her mother and then time to her accepting her gifts will imply as far as those agreements that the Prophet had with the Prophet, with the mushrikun of Makkah was concerned. So she had to be very, very careful. She refused to accept the gift, and she refused to allow the mother to come into the house. Qutayla bint Abdul Uzza, radiallahu, she did not unfortunately die as a Muslimah, so we can't make a parody to her. We can't say that Allah should have grant her his reward, his pleasure. So Asma bint Abu Bakr radiallahu anha said, أتتني أمي راغبة. My mother came hoping to have nice feelings from me to Ahd Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam during the Prophet's agreement, during the period of the Prophet's agreement with the people of Makkah. I hope that this matter is clear. Rabi'ul anha. فَسَأَلْتُ النَّبِيَّ صلى الله عليه وسلم. So because she did not know what does the ruling say about being nice to a mother in this kind of a situation, she said Rabi'ul anha. فَسَأَلْتُ النَّبِيَّ صلى الله عليه وسلم. So it required that Asma bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq would ask from the Prophet what she was going to do. This makes us understand many times when we do something, we would have done it before we start asking for the rulings. But for her, as important as caring for her mother was, and she knew the rulings of that, she wanted to know what is the ruling of this kind of a behavior in this circumstance. She was mushrika, and there's an agreement between the Prophet ﷺ and the mushrikun of Makkah. And here she has traveled all the way from Makkah. In fact, in the report of Abdullah ibn Zubayr, she did not come alone. She came with her son that she had in the second marriage that she had, Al-Harith. So she came with that son. The both of them came to visit Asma bint Abi Bakr. She did not allow them to come. She wanted to ask first from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the ruling of allowing that kind of a woman in this kind of a circumstance to come into the house of the Prophet? Is it lawful for me to be kind to her? And how will I do it? So she asked the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. She said, Asiluha, should I be kind to her? Should I say be nice to her? Should I accept her gifts? Should I allow her to come into my house where I have my husband and family? Should I still relate with her as I would have related with her if she was a Muslim? Asiluha, should I still connect the ties of kinship with her? And the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Naam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam answered in the affirmative, Naam, yes, you should. In the report of Al-Imam al-Bukhari, also in Sahih al-Bukhari, it says, Silu ummak. Connect the ties with your mother. She said, Asiluha, and the Prophet said, Naam, Silu ummak. Yes, connect the family ties. Be nice to your mother, despite the fact that she's a mushrika, and we have agreements with the rest of the mushrikun regarding those kinds of things. Even though she had not come to accept Islam, she had only come to connect family ties with you. So you should still be nice to her. The scholars have drawn a lot of points of benefits from this. One of it is that it is encouraged for us to travel to connect family ties. You could see Utayla travel to connect family ties. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam affirmed that. So it means it is lawful to travel to connect family ties. And don't forget, she was a mushrika, yet she did not come alone. She still went with her son. So if a woman says, oh, I want to go and visit my parents, make sure you are not going alone. Make sure you go with someone who is a mahram to you. Either your husband or your grown-up son or your brother or your father or your uncle. You should avoid to travel alone, so that this is not now used as the reason to say, oh, Utayla bint Abdul Uzza traveled alone from Makkah to Medina and the Prophet did not prohibit her. Don't forget that in the first place she was a mushrika. But at the same time, even like that, she still came with herself, she did not come alone. But the ulama have drawn from that it shows that we can travel from one place to the other. Maybe we live in Lagos, our families are in Ibadan, our parents are in Ibadan. Travel from Lagos to Ibadan, visit them, be nice to them. And when you do those visits, take along gifts for them. So this is lawful for us to do. So when she said that, Al-Imam Ibn Uyayna rahimahullah says, فَأَنْزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهَا. Allah revealed regarding this mas'ala, fiha fil mas'ala. Some of the scholars say that فَأَنْزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهَا means that Allah sent down regarding this issue, regarding أَنْزَلَ اللَّهُ fil mas'ala. Others say فَأَنْزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهَا. Allah revealed regarding Asma'u bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. In either of the cases, it was regarding Asma'u bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq, and it was regarding the mas'ala of having a mother who is a mushrika to visit us, and an injunction that has to do with the child being kind and nice to such mothers. when they do such kinds of visitation. What was the verse that Allah revealed regarding that? He said, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين إنما ينهاكم الله عن الذين قاتلوكم في الدين وأخرجوكم من دياركم وظاهروا على إخراجكم أن تولوهم ومن يتولهم فأولئك هم الظالمون. Allah said, لا ينهاكم الله. This verse occurs in Surah Al-Mumtahana or Surah Al-Mumtahina, in which Allah says, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين. Allah has not prohibited you regarding those persons لم يقاتلوكم في الدين. They have not stopped you regarding your religion. Ufayla bint Abdul Uzza is not quarreling with Asma'u bint Abi Bakr regarding her religion. She's not fighting her over Islam. Why did you accept Islam? Why did you follow your father? Why did you walk on the religion of Islam? Lam yuqatilukum fid-din. This mother is not fighting her children because they have accepted Islam. وَلَمْ يُخْرِجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ. She was not responsible for throwing out the Muslims from Makkah to Medina. Let all the Muslims go out of this place. We don't want to see them. We'll stone them to death. We'll be difficult to them. We'll be this mother, Taylor, she was not involved in these kinds of things with her son, Abdullah, or with her daughter, Asma'u bintu Abi Bakr as-Siddiq. وَلَمْ يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم لا ينهاكم الله أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. Allah has not prohibited us regarding people who have not been hostile to us in terms of our religion. They have not thrown us out of our religion. Allah has not prohibited us from being kind. Allah has not prohibited us from being kind to these kinds of mothers, to these kinds of fathers, to these kinds of relatives, to these kinds of people that we are from the same city. They are not hostile to us. They are not punishing us because of our religion. They are not flogging us. They are not telling us out of the room. So Allah has not prohibited us to be kind to them. And the scholars have interpreted it in two ways, and it can mean the two of them. And to be nice to them, some of them say that and that is that you should give them some of the gifts that Allah has bestowed upon you. But give them some gifts, some gifts from what you have. These kinds of mothers and relatives, Islam does not prohibit us from being nice to them too, and giving them gifts from what we have. In Allah likes those who make ihsan, who give gifts. This is one interpretation that the scholars are giving of taqfir. But others have said, no, what does this verse mean is that Allah has not prohibited you from being fair, from being just, from treating them nicely and fair. Why? Inna Allah yuhibbul muqsitin. Allah likes those who are just and fair. You will see that this verse involves the two of them, because being one will involve being nice, giving them gifts and all of them. So Allah has not prohibited us from being nice regarding these kinds of matters. In the next verse it says, Inna ma yanhaakumullah. Those that Allah has prohibited you from treating like that, عن الذين قاتلوكم في الدين وأخرجوكم من دياركم وظاهروا على إخراجكم أن تولوهم. Those that Allah has prohibited you from being nice to, from showing them kindness, are those who قاتلوكم في الدين. They fight you and punish you for nothing other than your religion. وأخرجوكم من دياركم. They throw you out of your house, they stone you, they treat you very badly, expel you from the cities. Not just that, they also cooperate with other people to punish you and deal with you as far as your religion is concerned. Allah says, Allah has prohibited you from doing nicely with these kinds of people. These are the people that you should avoid and be careful about. These are the people that you should be careful about. Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ. Whoever now goes off to start taking these kinds of people who are hostile to the Muslims regarding their religion, who punish them because of their religion, who don't want to see any good in them because of their religion. Whoever now goes to take these people, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ, who takes them for friends, takes them for protectors, takes them as people of intimacy, being intimate with them. These are the wrongdoers amongst the Muslims. Why? Because they are investing goodness in an area, they are investing their attention, they are investing their love, they are investing their intimacy in areas that are wrong. So it is good. They have placed their love, they have placed their intimacy, they have placed their interest, they have placed all of what they are doing to these people in the wrong place. So Allah refers to them as Zalimun, people who wrong their own souls. So if it means that Qutayla bint Abdul was a woman who was not bad in her dealings with Asma'u bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq, but that when someone finds parents, fathers, mothers who are very, very, very difficult in terms of the dealings with their children, such that sometimes, like the parents of Naasir Ibrahim alayhi salam, they could even contribute to the child being killed or being hurt because of their religion. These kinds of people we should avoid and know how to be very, very careful about that. Still, if we have any way of being nice to them, we should do it. If we have any way of sending good things to them, we should do it. But we must not invest our love with them. We must not invest intimacy with them. We must not take them for protectors. We must not take them for helpers, because they know that they cannot help us. They cannot protect us. They don't love us. And they want every evil to us. So why should you invest these same things to them when they don't want it regarding you and they hate you for your religion? So you should be careful about them. But even this thing, whenever there's an opportunity to extend the hands of goodness to them, we should therefore extend that hand of kindness to them. But when these mushriku parents, Kuffar parents, Christian parents, Jewish parents, parents of unbelievers, they are not in any way harmful or hurtful to us. We should be nice to them, but not follow them upon their disobedience to Allah. I hope that this hadith is clear with this explanation. As now bint Abi Bakr as-Siddiq said, أتتني أمي راغبة في عهد النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم فسألت النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أصلها قال نعم قال ابن عيينة فأنزل الله فيها لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين. I hope that this hadith is clear. If we have any part of it or anything in it that's not clear, inshallah we will respond to it at the time of questions. The next hadith is hadith number 26 under the chapter of Barru al-Walid al-Mushrik. Being nice to a parent or a father or a relative who is upon shirk. You see Al-Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah. In the first hadith, he brought a hadith, in the first hadith of the Bab, the hadith of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. It was a relationship between the mother and his son. That mother was a difficult mother with the son. She was hard on the son. The second hadith he brought, it was a mother and a daughter. But the mother was easy upon the daughter, upon the child. So you would see that the differences in their dealings have been mentioned in the verses of the Quran that have been cited regarding each of the reports. Here in this hadith number 26, الإمام البخاري said حدثنا موسى قال حدثنا عبد العزيز بن مسلم عن عبد الله بن دينار قال سمعت ابن عمر يقول رأى عمر رضي الله عنه حلة سيراء تباع فقال يا رسول الله ابدع هذه فالبسها يوم الجمعة وإذا جاءك الوفود قال إنما يلبس هذه من لا خلاق له. فأتي النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم منها بحلل فأرسل إلى عمر بحلة فقال كيف ألبسها وقد كنت فيها مرحوت؟ قال إني لم أعتكها لتلبسها ولكن تبيعها أو تكسوها. فأرسل بها عمر إلى أخ له من أهل مكة قبل أن يسلم. الإمام البخاري رحمه الله حدثنا موسى. الإمام موسى بن الحديث والشيخ الإمام البخاري موسى بن إسماعيل التبوذكي أبو سلمة موسى بن إسماعيل البصري التبوذكي قال حدثنا عبد العزيز بن مسلم عن عبد الله بن دينار. عبد الله بن دينار اسمه مولى ابن عمر. He's like Nafi. One is Nafi مولى ابن عمر, Nafi مولى ابن عمر, Nafi مولى ابن عمر. Ibn Umar also had Abdullah ibn Dinar. He was a very, very learned person too amongst the Tabi'un. He was also a free slave of Abdullah ibn Umar. His name is Abdullah ibn Dinar مولى ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما. قال سمعت ابن عمر يقول. Abdullah ibn Dinar is reporting from the one who had freed him from slavery. Abdullah ibn Umar يقول سمعت ابن عمر يقول. He said that he heard Abdullah ibn Umar saying that رأى عمر حلة سيراء تباع. رأى عمر حلة سيراء تباع. عمر رضي الله عنه رأى حلة سيراء. He saw حلة. حلة is a piece of garment, a pair of garments, usually one at the top and the other below it. If it is one, it is not referred to as حلة. حلة is a pair of garments, one at the top, one below. When it is one at the top, one below, it is called حلة. If it is just a piece of cloth, it will not be referred to as حلة. And usually حلل are new clothes, a pair of new clothes, a pair of new garments. So Umar radiallahu anhu saw a pair of new garments radiallahu anhu. And those new garments, they are siyara. They have silk stripes running across it as stripes with silk stripes. It's a silk stripes new piece of garment. Silk stripes, two pieces of garment, and they are both silk stripes, new pieces of garment. Rabbi Umar saw it in in the marketplace where goods are advertised for sale, and that was just at the doorstep of the Prophet's masjid sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Medina. This is evidence that you can have goods displayed at the doorsteps of the masjid. Those who of our brothers sell goods, once you step out of the masjid, you find there are places where they sell goods. They sell jalabia, they sell habbatus sauda and honey. They find evidence in this hadith for what they do. So that is the evidence for it. That case was where Umar radiallahu anhu saw two pieces of garments that had silk stripes that are sold at the entrance of the masjid. فقال يا رسول الله. Umar radiallahu anhu then said, O Messenger of Allah, buy these two pieces of garments with silk stripes. It will show that they are expensive material. They are nice looking material. They are something that's worthy of attention. Very nice material that Umar radiallahu anhu was calling the attention of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam onto. He said, Ya Rasulallah, buy, O Messenger of Allah, these two pieces of clothes so that you can wear them on the day of Jummah. You can wear them on the days of Jummah. And some reports it added and said, you can wear them on the days of Jummah, and you will employ them to dress up on the days of Eid. Likewise, when the delegations come to visit you. So he mentioned three things. You can wear these nice clothes on the days of Jummah. You can wear these nice clothes on the days of Eid. You can wear these nice clothes when delegations come to visit you. Without taking our time, it's appropriate to mention that the scholars are arguing that this is evidence that we can buy more clothes for the purpose of wearing it on the days of Jummah. We can buy a new clothes for the purpose of wearing it on the days of Eid. We can buy a new clothes for the purpose of wearing it when people, eminent persons visit us, or when we go to visit eminent people. Because the Prophet ﷺ had been given these three suggestions for buying the clothes, and he affirmed it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, since he did not reject it. The Prophet then said, إِنَّمَا يَلْبَسُ هَذِهِ مَنْ لَا خَلَاقَ لَهُ إِنْ شَبِكَتْكَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ إِنَّمَا يَلْبَسُ هَذِهِ مَنْ لَا خَلَاقَ لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. The Prophet then said, إِنَّمَا يَلْبَسُ هَذِهِ. Those who wear these kinds of clothes are those who لَا خَلَاقَ لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. People who don't have a share, who don't have a nasib on the day of Qiyamah. There are some interpretations that the scholars have given to they don't have a share in Akhirah. Some say they will not enter Al-Jannah. But the punishment for wearing silk clothes in the dunya is that they will be denied from entering Al-Jannah. They will not enter Al-Jannah with those who will enter Al-Jannah who don't have that thing with them. This is one explanation that the scholars have given. Others have said this is wearing this clothes is إنما يلبس هذه من لا خلاق له في الآخرة. Those who wear these clothes are those who will not wear the silk clothes in the Akhirah. Some say those who wear these clothes are those who don't have a share in Al-Jannah from the very beginning. Some say no. The meaning of this expression is that those who wear these kinds of silk materials, they are those who will not wear La khalaqa lahu, La nasiba lahu, La hazza lahu. They don't have a share of the silk that will be worn on the day of Qiyamah, because they simply wear the silk materials in this dunya. And let me also quickly mention that this ruling about the prohibition of wearing silk is only restricted to men. The women are allowed in the Sharia to wear silk, as is in the Hadith of Ali ibn Abi Talib in Sunan Abi Dawud. The women are allowed to wear silk, but the men are prohibited from wearing silk, except men who have things like rabies or scabies or something on their skin, that when they wear the silk appears to suit their skin. I think that was a permission the Prophet ﷺ gave to the persons of Abdurrahman ibn Awf, who was allowed to wear silk by the Prophet ﷺ. So ulama say, when people in that circumstance have such kinds of issues, they are also allowed to wear silk. These men who have some skin conditions that when they wear the silk, it suits the skin. But from the rest of the men, it is prohibited for us to wear silk. That's why the Prophet is saying in this hadith that إِنَّمَا يَلْبَسُ هَذِهِ Man la khalaqa lahu fil akhirah. Those who wear these kinds of materials are those who will not wear it in the hereafter, or those who wear this material are those who will be delayed from entering the Al-Jannah as a means of some punishment for what they do, for wearing the silk while on the earth. That is, if Allah does not grant them forgiveness. That's on tahta mashi'atillah. I hope that we understand that on the issues of Aqidah, that when there is a threat regarding a particular punishment in the hereafter for a Muslim over a sin, which is hinged upon the fact that he does not gain Allah's forgiveness for all his sins. Because some of the people, bi'idhnillah, will gain forgiveness for all their sins and they will be forgiven. So this kind of reference requires, this matter requires mention. فَأُتِيَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ مِنْهَا بِخُلَلٍ. Thereafter, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was brought some pieces of garments, also with silk chains, were brought to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In other reports, it was said that they were 3 in number. 3 sets were brought to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it said that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam distributed it amongst three of his companions. In that report it said, Fakata Omar Hullatan, the Prophet gave Omar one of the Hullah from the tree that was brought to him, Wakata Aliyan Hullatan, and then he gave Ali ibn Abi Talib another set, another pair of the Hullah that was brought to him with silk strands, Wakata Usamata Hullatan, and he also gave Usama ibn Zayd another piece from that that we have brought to him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That report occurs in Sahih Muslim. So it was not just Umar who was giving. He gave it to Umar radiallahu anhu. He gave to Usama ibn Zayd radiallahu anhu. He also gave to Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. فقال عمر كيف ألبسها O Messenger of Allah, how should I wear a cloth? وَقَدْ قُلْتَ فِيهَا مَا قُلْتَ When you have said about it what you have said. You have said that this clothes that you have هذه مَا خَلَقَ لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ You have told me that those who wear these kinds of clothes, the other day I wanted you to buy the clothes. You have said that those who wear the clothes are those who will not have a share for sake on the day of Qiyamah. Those who will not enter Al-Jannah at the time the people enter Al-Jannah in the Akhirah. And now we are doing it wrong again. You said something about it. Then the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّا لَمْ أُعْطِكَهَا لِتَلْبَسَهَا I have not given you this material so that you can wear it. I did not give you so that you can wear it. وَلَكِنْ تَبِيعَهَا I have given you so that you may sell it. أَوْ تَقْسُوهَا Or you may give it to someone else to wear. You may give it to your wives to wear, since such a cloth is not prohibited for women. That occurs in a report. That's one of the reports of this hadith. That yes, you can cut it and give it to your wives to wear. So your wives can wear it. You can also sell it and make money from it. I have not given you because just I want you to wear it. I have given you for other reasons. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When Umar heard that, فَأَرْسَلَ بِهَا عُمَرُ إِلَىٰ أَخٍ لَهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ مَكَّةَ قَبْلَ أَنْ يُسْلِمَ Umar, when he heard that he could give it as a gift to someone else, Umar radiallahu anhu sent it to a brother of his named Ahl Makkah, who was in Makkah at the time, Qabla and Yuslim, before that brother of his accepted Islam. Before that brother of Umar accepted Islam, that meant that that brother of Umar, to whom Umar had sent that gift, also accepted Islam after a while. But before he accepted Islam was when Umar radiallahu anhu sent that gift to him. And this is the point of reference in this hadith. Umar radiallahu anhu was still kind to his brother who was upon shirk. He still sent a garment that was nice, that was prized to him. A garment he loved for himself. A garment he loved that the Prophet wore, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But for the fact that they could not wear it because it had silk stripes on it, okay, I could give it to someone else who may wear it, or who may also sell it, because since it is not permissible for a Muslim to wear it, it is not also permissible for a mushrik male to wear it. But that his brother who sell it and make money from it. Just like Umar took that, as the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and made money from it. That's why ulama say this is evidence that there are some things that we cannot use, but we can sell it. It's not allowed for a male, for example, to wear golden materials, golden ornament, golden chain, golden ring. It's prohibited for a male. But it does not mean that he cannot sell gold. See that? Just like silk is prohibited for males, it does not mean that he cannot sell silk materials. And the evidence for that is this hadith. Because the Prophet said he could sell it, even though he had prohibited that he could wear it. He allowed that he could sell it. But the point for which Al-Imam al-Bukhari has reported this hadith in this book under this chapter heading is that if it is allowed, and it is actually allowed, to be nice to our brother, to be nice to our sister who is a mushrik, who is not even in the city where we are. Look at what Umar did, radiallahu anhu. He still tried to connect family ties with him. How about our parents? Because we could have asked, this hadith has nothing to do with our father, neither does it have anything to do with our mother. So why has Imam al-Bukhari cited this hadith under this chapter heading? The reason is that if it is allowed, and it is actually allowed to connect family ties with non-Muslims, how about who are our brothers, or who are our sisters, or who are our relatives? How about our fathers and our mothers? Of course, Al-Adabul Mufrad, that will be with a greater reason. The fact that it's allowed for our brothers is evident that it's also allowed regarding our parents. If we can connect family ties with sharing gifts and being nice regarding the affairs of this dunya to our relatives who are not upon Islam, then we can also be nice in the matters of dunya to friends and relatives who are to parents who are not upon Islam. But don't forget, the verse in Surah Al-Mumtahina is a ruling verse regarding this issue. The verse in Surah Al-Luqman is a ruling verse in this issue. What is that? وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَنْ تُشْرِكَ بِي. If you see that they begin to make efforts upon you, come to us, join us, follow us, don't follow them, don't obey them. وَصَحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. And that does not still prevent you from being nice to them regarding giving them gifts, regarding being nice to them. But don't follow them. This is point one. The second point is that verse, the second verse we read from Surah Al-Mumtahana. إِنَّمَا يَنْهَاكُمُ اللَّهُ عَنِ الَّذِينَ قَاتَلُوكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ وَأَخْرَجُوكُمْ مِنْ دِيَارِكُمْ وَظَاهَرُوا عَلَىٰ إِخْرَاجِكُمْ أَنْ تَوَلَّوْهُمْ وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُمْ مِنْكُمْ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. That when these people become hostile and tough against Muslims and cooperate to the rest of the people to punish the Muslims because of their deen, you should be careful. Don't invest your love for them. Don't invest your interest in them. So these are the restrictions that the Sharia has given us regarding these matters and regarding these people. So if it is this important for the religion to be nice to our parents, to be nice to our brothers and our sisters and other relatives who are non-Muslims, like Umar radiallahu anhuma, then radiallahu anhu, then it is with a greater reason that we should treat parents who are not upon Islam with this kind of goodness, as much as we do not become as a result of that a follower of their desires. You know, yes, sir. Okay, I think we can stop here and take questions. I don't want to.
Why is it that there is provision for certain things in this dunya and there will be clear hours in Al-Jannah?
Well, firstly, these questions have come from an understanding that what is mentioned, for example, if faith is mentioned in the dunya, when it is talking about the same kind of faith in the hereafter, it's a misunderstanding. That in the hereafter is just called that name. Otherwise, there's no comparison between the faith of the dunya and the faith of akhirah. The same thing, things like drinks are mentioned, wines are mentioned. People usually think that, it will be like the wine of this dunya. No, they don't have any kind of similitude at all, but except that by way of drawing them nearer to us. Otherwise, the meanings, the deeper meanings of what these things mean are far beyond what we can imagine. But they are called those names. But the deeper meanings of those names, of those same things that Allah has mentioned that we will gain in Al-Jannah, their meanings are far beyond what our minds can imagine. So silk here doesn't mean the same silk people will have on the day of Qiyamah inside Al-Jannah. Or wines. Here, the same wines. Even the women of this dunya will not be the same women of Akhirah. The men in this dunya will not be the same men of Akhirah. Look at how the men of Akhirah inside Al-Jannah will have the beauty of Yusuf. And look at how the women, the queens, our wives in this dunya will be like women who've never been touched. They'll be so beautiful. The kinds of beauty of Al-Jannah is not seen, is not known. It's not what our minds can even imagine. So you can see how these things are. So when you say woman is beautiful in this dunya, don't think that that beauty has anything to match with the beauty that you will see of women inside Al-Jannah. The same thing when we mention other issues regarding Al-Jannah. When we see the rivers of Al-Jannah, we are talking about something bigger than what our minds can conceive, even though they are still rivers. I hope that that explanation is clear. That is one. The second thing is that in Allah does what He wills. If He has prohibited something for us in this dunya, He has done that out of great wisdom, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and out of His will. For our own is to obey what He says. Even in this dunya, sometimes He will permit something and later He will prohibit it. So Allah does what He wills. Our own is to obey and follow His instructions, subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that that is clear, inshallah.
The next question says, are we allowed to sell clothing materials for females that don't cover up? And the similar question says, I have some clothes and attachments that you can give to assist not to give up. Can I dash them out?
Well, clothes that, clothes that women wear, well, essentially, everything that a woman wears, or everything that a man wears, can be sold by any person who sells what men and women wear. Everything that a man wears, we men, we wear, usually our garments are about 4. We have an inner top inside, we have an inner lower, and then a trouser, and then a garment on top of it. Usually, this is the average men's wear. So a man can sell all these, despite the fact that there are some men who can go about with the one that is underneath it, that we can't go out with. So now that person goes out with it is that person's issue. It's not an issue that is connected to the person who is selling it. But there's usually a small line of difference. When we know, we are certain that these persons will not wear these dresses upon niceness, upon goodness, then the selling person may avoid to sell to them because we are sure that they will commit sins and evil with them. Allahu Alam, this is what I understand regarding this matter at this time. Alaykum as-salam. Alaykum as-salam. Ma'am? Ma'am? Alaykum as-salam, Abu Yusuf. Alaykum as-salam, Abu Yusuf.
The question says, we know that in Allah is a
حرم ثمنها. نعم.
How do we relate this to serving the prayer?
Yes, it simply means this is an exception from that. Do you understand? This hadith of Umar means that if it is something that some of the Muslims are allowed to use, like the women are allowed to use silk, a man can sell silk, because some of the ummah are allowed.
How do they ask to be selling?
Abba Yusuf, the internet is not clear, but I will try to say something about that. If it's not clear, I will start the class tomorrow with that answer. Inna Allah idha harrama shay'an. Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Yes. Now, إن الله إذا حرم شيئا حرم ثمنه. Yes. When Allah prohibits a thing like alcohol, when Allah prohibits a thing like zina, حرم ثمنه, He also prohibits proceeds, money made from that thing that He has prohibited. But you know the prohibition for silk in this case is a prohibition that is restricted to a part of the ummah. It is not a general prohibition for the entirety of the Muslims. It's a prohibition that is related to the males of the ummah. In fact, even amongst the males, some males are allowed to wear silk, as we described in the condition of Abdurrahman ibn Awf. So if it is entirely prohibited, it means we are also prohibiting it, that we cannot even find those who are allowed to use it. They will not find someone to sell to them. This hadith is evidence that that's an exception. That if something is prohibited, that a part of the ummah is allowed to use that same thing, then it means it is allowed to sell it, and it is allowed to use the proceeds from that thing that is sold. This hadith is the evidence for this position that I'm saying now. Because the Prophet ﷺ allowed that Umar sold the silk and he used the money for things of benefit to him. I we can stop the class. I will answer that question again tomorrow. I have answered it, but I will answer it again tomorrow before we commence the class, inshallah. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum. Ameen wa iyyakum. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.